Peace to the family. It's Roderi's X. I know it's been a minute, but I've been doing some schooling, trying to further my career, but I got time today. So today I want to get into something called the Afrocentric versus the Black Antiafrocentric. On the plantation, there was two different types of black people, the Afrocentric and the Black Antiafrocentric. The Afrocentric is a rebellious dreamer who has a liberating state of mind. The Black Anti-Afrocentric has a complacent state of mind. The Black Anti-Afrocentric don't produce people like MLK, Harriet Tubman, or Malcolm X. Only the Afrocentric can produce these amazing people. For they knew that death was better than bondage. The man, the myth, the legend, the one who struck off the Haiti Revolution, the reason why Haiti is an all-black colony today, Mackendall was an Afrocentric. And he understood the difference between the Afrocentric and the Black Anti-Afrocentric. The Black Anti-Afrocentric told Mackendall that we are slaves and that's all we will ever be. It's pseudo to think we was more than that. And hush with all that talk about escaping. You's gonna get yourself into some good old trouble, and I's gonna tell massa on you. Mackendall told the Black Anti-Afrocentric, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. This ain't the way humans are supposed to be treated, and I will liberate myself or die trying. So in order to liberate himself and other people that had the Afrocentric state of mind like he did, Mackendall not only poisoned the slave master, he poisoned the Black Anti-Afrocentrics first. Because he understood that in order to become liberated, he had to eradicate anybody that stood in his way. Thinking like the Afrocentric is what liberated Haiti. The Afrocentric has a liberating state of mind, and the Black Anti-Afrocentric has a complacent state of mind. He's complacent with every little token that the slave master gives him. But being a complacent Negro gets nothing done. Being a complacent Negro is not a means to an end. The Black Anti-Afrocentric remained complacent while watching his father and brother being hung from trees. The Black Anti-Afrocentric remained complacent while the slave master had his way with his wife. The Black Anti-Afrocentric has no knowledge of himself. Knowledge of self makes a man unfit to be a slave. When you know who you are and where you come from, you know that what the slave master was doing to your people was inhumane. And so the slave master made it illegal to learn to read and write and practice the culture of the people we come from. And above all else, the slave master feared the day an uprising would occur. Yet, thanks to the Afrocentric, that rebellious dreamer, that rebel with a cause, we live in a world where we are kind of treated equal. Although systemic racism still exists, we no longer endure the whip and chains that our forefathers and mothers endured. Today, the Afrocentric fights a new fight, and it's called historical prejudice. Today, the so-called white supremacists want us to believe that before we came over here as slaves, we were just living in the jungles swinging from trees. But that can be no further from the truth. Because before Africans got here, there was no great empire called America. America didn't become America until we got here. In fact, the one telling us that we were swinging from trees did not even know how to cultivate the land before we got here. The only reason that the Eurocentrics are here is because their European ancestors kicked them out of Europe, threw them away like trash because they were living foul and unprogressive in their own homeland. Yet every chance they get, they want to remind us that we were slaves in America. They create a narrative as if we had no culture or civilization until coming into contact with them. And the Black Anti-Afrocentric believes that white ice is colder. When the white man says that we evolved from apes, the Black Anti-Afrocentric bucks his eyes and think he's saying something scientific. When the Eurocentric tries to slice Egypt away from the rest of Africa, the Black Anti-Afrocentric bags his claims, saying that we have nothing to do with ancient Egypt and that we are stealing culture. Yet the Black Anti-Afrocentric is so complacent and so docile in his thinking that he ignores the fact that the same Europeans that are saying these things have nothing to do with ancient Greece or Rome. The Eurocentrics making these claims are majority British, French, and English, and they have nothing to do with Greece or Rome. In fact, the Romans enslaved their ancestors, called them barbarians. The Eurocentric can lie and say that he civilized the world, and when Afrocentrics speak truth to power, saying that the black Moors civilized them, the Black Anti-Afrocentric will buck his eyes, saying that the Moors were never black. They look like Arabs. Yet the very word Moor means black. Imagine debunking Eurocentric and Black Anti-Afrocentric talking points with a goldfish. The reason this goldfish is called a Moor is because of its black color. The reason they call the men that civilized Europe in the Dark Ages Moors is because of their black skin. Some writers even say there was nothing white about them but their teeth and their eyes. Deep down, the racist Eurocentric knows who the real father of civilization was, and he would do anything in his power to dismantle that truth. And today, he has foot soldiers, the Black Anti-Afrocentrics, to do his dealings for him. But as long as Afrocentrics and some radical European scholars are here, we will continue to speak truth to power. Nothing wrong with being Afrocentric. The ancient Egyptians were Afrocentric. How were they not when they looked at black as being divine? Whatever the Eurocentric and the Anti-Afrocentric has done or may do, one thing is certain. It has with indisputable evidence in stone and picture established for all time that the African was the master and not the slave, the conqueror and not the conquered, the civilized and not the savage.